Hey, you're hanging out in the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason.
And I'm Donna Ruppel. Around here, we believe success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you link up with. This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Donna, it blows my mind that the two of us have over 30 years of combined networking experience.
I know. We've built businesses, expanded networks, and created unstoppable momentum, all through the power of strategic connections.
AKA networking. And now we're here to guide you to do the same, starting today.
So let's dive in, connect, and start making moves you didn't even know were possible.
Merry Christmas and welcome to the Link Up Lounge.
We're super excited to share this holiday season with you. So we thought we would share our most popular episode with you that was about showing up with confidence. It had our highest number of downloads, so we thought what better than to share it again for this holiday season. We want to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Hey, welcome back to the Link Up Lounge. So today we are going to talk about how confidence is your best networking tool. Confidence is contagious, and it's one of the most important things you bring to every conversation.
And Donna, let's be clear. We are not talking about arrogance. We're not talking about being rude. We're talking about the kind of grounded confidence that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I'm here to connect, not perform.
Absolutely. I think that when you go in knowing you're there to connect, that also helps with your confidence. I think that's a critical part.
Well, I think it puts you in a different headspace, right? Like you aren't walking in like, what's in it for me? You're walking in thinking, I'm going to connect.
Exactly.
And that will give you more confidence because when you're going in to be salesy and slimy, that doesn't feel good. But when you're going in to connect with people, that feels like a more confident thing that, like I can do this. I can talk to people. That's not hard. But to sell may feel more intimidating.
Exactly.
So that, the mindset. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's huge. Yeah. So today we're talking about how building your confidence can completely transform the way you network, connect, and create new opportunities. Because again, when you're going in feeling that you're there to connect, it's going to transform the confidence you exude and the confidence in what you're there for.
Well, and I think that people notice even like a quiet confidence. They lean in, they remember you, and that's how doors start to open. So many years ago, I would ask my sister, like, does my outfit match? Or this goes together, but I don't know how I really feel about it, And she would always say, if you put an outfit on and you just walk around with confidence, people automatically just say like, oh, that matches what they've got on, looks good. So my son was getting ready for graduation and he was trying to decide what to wear under his gown, which made me laugh that he was really like contemplating what he was going to wear because it was under the gown. But it could have been that we were doing lunch with his girlfriend afterwards and meeting up with grandparents. So that might have been the bigger reason why he was wondering what to wear. But when he was talking to me, he goes, I don't know. It's like Aunt Jenny always says, right? Like just wear it with confidence and it'll be fine. And it's kind of the same thing when we talk about, our networking ability. Like go in, act like you have confidence, act like you've done it before. And when you put that cart before the horse, when you put that confidence before maybe your true confidence, people are attracted to that. They notice that. I don't think that it always comes off as, blowing smoke. I think that like you own it and you just walk in with confidence and people assume, okay, this person's got it. They know what they're talking about. Awesome. Let's connect.
Yeah. And if you think about it in the flip side, when you walk into a room and you see someone who is, clearly confident, clearly commanding the room, clearly commanding attention, doesn't it make you want to go talk to them? You want to know, like, what is this person going to be here about or talking about or bringing to the table? Because I just want to know. They just seem so confident. I just feel like that is such an attraction.
Yes.
When you think about that, you want to be confident because then people want to get to know you. They want to know what you're doing, what you're bringing to the table, why you're here, So yeah. I think confidence is something we're all attracted to at every level.
Absolutely.
I think it's so important. And so it's not always innately there.
Right.
But we're going to talk about some things to help you with that as well in this episode. So stay tuned.
That's right. So let's talk about why confidence matters. People are drawn to confidence because it feels safe. and it feels steady. It gives others permission to relax, to trust you, to know more about what you do and who you are. There is a song by Maren Morris, and it's called One of the Good Ones. And she's talking about her boyfriend, or, her love interest, and why she's attracted to him. And one of the things it says, he's solid and he's steady, like the Allegheny runs, so the Allegheny River. And that is like, when I think about why I was first attracted to my husband, I think about like, this man was confident. He knew where he was going. He knew what his goals were. And I was like, I am going with that one for the ride. Wherever he's going, that's where I want to go. And there's another song actually in The Greatest Showman. And they're also talking about, I knew that life with you wasn't going to be predictable, but I knew that you had confidence where we were going. And so I wanted to be there with you. And I think about that so strongly. And I think that people are drawn to me, and not to like toot my own horn or anything, but you and I, Donna, are very confident people. And I'm sure you have felt that before, where people just gravitate to you almost. And it's a great feeling. B, I want to have that for everybody, though. I want everybody to realize that
Right.
that's inside of you, and to draw people near through sheer confidence.
Yes, because you're right. It does. Confidence feels safe because when somebody is confident, you feel like they know exactly what they're doing. And
Yes.
I think that's why people are attracted to them, but also attracted to hear what they got going on. So when you're talking in a business
Yeah.
sense, in a networking sense, and somebody's super confident, they've arrived. Like they know what they're doing. They know what they got going on. They know what their business is doing, and
Well, and maybe they have that playbook that you're looking for, right? So you
Yeah.
think this person is a couple steps ahead of me. Let me go learn from them. Let me go gain what they know. Let me go figure out, like you said, what they've got going on.
Yeah, exactly. Versus, somebody who is super not confident, right? Nervous, unsure. You walk away from those conversations and those interactions just going, oh, I feel sorry for her. She's so nervous. I don't remember what she said,
Right.
or maybe even what her business is. I just remember feeling empathy for her because she was so nervous, and so
Yes.
your message gets lost when your
Mhm.
body language is distracting. And that may be your confidence as well. You're just so
Yeah.
nervous that your message gets lost. And so confidence matters not only to attract people, but also to make your.
Well, I want to bring up, we buy from people that we know, like, and trust, right? We do business with people that we know, like, and trust. So when someone's confident and we're saying that that gives off a trust vibe or a safe vibe, that helps us to trust that person. And then we go, okay, they know what they're talking about. I want to, hire them for XYZ job that I've got going on. So I think that you're right in saying that confidence, trust, and we want that message to get across. So I'm sure we're going to say that a million times, that we buy from people we know, like, and trust. We do business with people that we know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
But that's part of it, is confidence behind your services, confidence behind your message, confidence behind why you're in that room.
Yeah. And what you offer. And, it's also that you refer people that you know, like, and trust. So not only do you want to do business with them, but you are feeling secure in referring them to people because you know, like, and trust them, and because they have that confidence. And so when you show up unsure, people feel that. They feel the nerves. They feel the insecurity. It makes you question, if they can, number one, even do their job, what they're purporting to do, or number two, if they're going to be doing it next week, because they're so nervous.
Yeah.
And so it makes you go, oh, they're trying, they're new, and you feel for them, but it doesn't make you trust them. It certainly doesn't make you feel safe or steady, or that they're going to, perform for somebody else if you were to refer them to somebody. And you kind of feel like maybe they're not here yet. Maybe they're not solid yet. Maybe they haven't really figured out how they're going to do their business. So I just feel like
finish their training.
Right? Exactly. Like, or they're fresh out of training and they don't know what they're doing yet. Like that's how it kind of comes across when people are really nervous. And we get it. Not everyone is naturally bold. Like you mentioned, you and I, certainly come off like we have a lot of confidence, but there's definitely times in my life, even now, as old as I am, where I'm about to go in somewhere and I'm super nervous, right? And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you are a grown adult. Like, you can do this. Just fake it. Okay. Just fake like you're confident and people will like you. Okay. I still have those pep talks in the car sometimes, because when you start something new or you're doing something new, it's intimidating. I do think that the more you've been around, the more mature you get, the
The more
easier it
life
is for you to
experience.
talk yourself. Right. It's easier to talk yourself off that ledge of nerves and that ledge of intimidation and things like that. It becomes easier because you're also like, just, I'm too old for this. Like, just grow up, like, just go in there and, whatever.
I was going to say the same thing. I think as we get older, we care less about what other people think about us.
Right.
So if I know my stuff, I know what I'm here for, it's easier to walk in there and be confident. And as you get older, you just, like I said, stop caring so much about what other people think about you. And if you are younger, I want you to think what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
What other people think of you is none of your business. And people are not thinking about you as much as you think they are thinking about you.
True.
So while you realize that you have a spot on your shirt, guess what? Nobody may even notice the entire meeting
Right.
that you have a spot on your shirt.
Like,
so those little things that you're thinking about, put them aside.
yes.
And I do think it's funny that even on the exterior, how, Donna and I may seem like we have it all together. There have been plenty of times where she and I have been having a conversation. I'm like, you're so good at that. And she's like, I am. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, this is how it comes off to everybody else, and so it's funny that other people are seeing in you what you are not seeing in yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that one thing I just want to say about that is that that's where having a strong networking partner or maybe a tight-knit group that you network with is so valuable, because even as you progress through your profession and through your business and all those things, having people that like, and trust that give you valuable feedback about how your proposal is coming off, or how your marketing is coming off, or how your conversation is coming off is invaluable, because you do learn so many things about yourself, and you're like, oh, that sounds good, or oh, that sounds impressive. Like, I had no idea. I just thought I was, going. So I think that is a critical and so invaluable part of networking. Is it may not be a whole group. Maybe you haven't found your vibe in a whole group, but at least like try and find a networking partner or buddy that you guys can be honest with each other on when you're really looking great, sounding great, doing great things, what your values are. Those kind of things are really important because it helps you understand how your message is being received too.
And can give you a lot of confidence.
Yes.
I was recently editing a podcast episode, and they were talking about how these successful businesswomen had attended a mastermind together. And they had a little bit of downtime where the person who was holding the mastermind was holding one-to-ones with everybody that had attended. So while they were doing the one-to-ones with the main person, everybody else was networking and talking about things. And that was one of their biggest takeaway over the 2 days. Yes, all the content they learned was great, but what they really took away from it was everybody in that group having a conversation saying, well, I know you're really good at AI. Can you help us understand that? And then somebody else would say, what I've learned about you is you're really good in marketing. Can you help me with that? Through that conversation, just like you're saying, they were able to identify each other's strengths and lean on those strengths from each other. And some people didn't even realize, because like the lady that I'm saying with AI, it was so second nature to her that she just assumed everybody knew AI that well.
Yeah.
And so it was really cool for them to have some of their strengths pointed out to them. And just like saying in our conversation, that you may end up with your networking buddy, find out like, oh, I do that pretty well,
Yeah.
And I guess even from one of our previous episodes where you're saying, I'm a great networking buddy, because I will say, okay, we're going to divide and conquer. Like, we know each other, so we're not going to network. Go find somebody else to network with.
Right.
I guess I didn't realize that was a strength of mine. I've thought about it a couple of times since that conversation. And you may have the same experience where somebody will point something out and go, huh, and it gives you additional confidence. when you learn those strengths.
Yes. Like I kind of started saying, and then I went down a whole nother rabbit trail, but we get it if you're not naturally confident. And I feel like we're kind of talking about two different things. We're talking about being confident in life, and then we're talking about being confident in business and in networking. And so I feel like you can be confident in business and networking, even if you're not naturally a confident person in life.
Sure.
I think that, understanding that not everybody is a naturally bold, brazen, wearing bright colors, standing on the table dancing kind of person, but that's not the kind of confidence we're talking about. We're talking about being anchored in your value, being anchored in your value, being confident in the value you're bringing to the table in your business, and that is the kind of confidence we're talking about. So it can be quiet confidence.
Right. You don't have to dominate the conversation. You just have to be sure of what you're bringing to the table. And that presence alone shifts how others respond to you. My husband is a very quiet, very reserved person. And yet he's very well respected by a lot of people because A, when he opens his mouth, he has valuable things to say. And B, he says it with confidence.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Donna.
Yeah. It's kind of like and I don't want to put people in typical roles, but I can talk to my kids all day long about what they should do. And I have older kids. So, they put it in the suggestion box. But when, when I go to my husband, Chris, and then he says the same thing, they listen to it differently, because he doesn't chime in much. So when he does, it must be important and I must actually listen. Oh, Dad's going to actually back this up.
Yes.
And so now I have to listen. It's just taken differently. So it isn't about being the loudest person in the room or the most confident, person outside of business. It's about being that anchored in your value, knowing what you bring to the table, confident in your business. And those are two totally different things. So even the most introverted person can be confident in their business.
Absolutely.
And confident for purposes of networking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now let's switch. We talked about the importance of confidence. Now let's talk about how to build confidence, preparation, the mindset, all those things that go into building your confidence. Because who knows, maybe you're brand new in your business and you're like, I don't even know what I am bringing to the table. How am I supposed to be confident in networking? Or maybe you've been networking for a while and you've never really hit on how to come across as confidence, because it's not just something you're born with. It is something that you have to focus on and work on and develop.
Right. I agree. First place we have to start is preparation. So know what you're going to say when someone asks you what you do. Have your power statement ready. So we talked about that in the previous episode. How do you help people, or what do you do for them? What are the services that you provide? I would really say, seriously, look in the mirror and do this out loud. I don't know about you. My son and I have this very annoying character trait where I can think in my head for the longest time, 2 plus 2 is, 2 plus 2 is. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So then I call my math teacher and I'm like, hey, math teacher, 2 plus 2 is, it's 4. If I just say it out loud, I can come to the conclusion so much easier. And I was actually just working on something else before we hopped on this interview or this podcast episode, this recording. And I was reading it out loud because even on our networking call that we had for Bond and Beyond, one of the success tips that was offered to us was say it out loud. So there are multiple reasons to say it out loud. Say it out loud for flow reasons, for how does it sound if I'm receiving this. Say it out loud to see your facial expressions. Have you ever watched American Idol and they're like, you do something so weird when you hit high notes. And they're like, I want you to practice the song in the mirror because you got some weird body language going on, right? And then say it out loud to build that confidence. So you know what it sounds like when it comes out of your mouth. You should have it, ready on go. It should be able to roll off the tip of your tongue. Practice talking about your work in a way that feels natural to you and very real. And so when you're working on those power statements, I want you guys to be thinking if I just bumped into somebody on the elevator, would this naturally sound like something I would want to say. It shouldn't be like, I help people learn how to network, right? It should be like, oh, I have this podcast. I know networking is not easy for everybody, or they may not understand the importance. It may not be comfortable for them. So we started this podcast so people could learn how to grow confidence and go into their networking, have it be more of a fun task for them. That's what I would say about preparation.
Absolutely. There's nothing like practicing. And when I was an attorney and I litigated, and I used to practice in the shower, my opening or closing statement, I would practice in the shower. And I'd practice and I'd practice. And then I'd practice in the car on the way to, the courtroom. And I would practice and practice and practice. I would practice in front of my husband. I would practice in front of my dogs. But it was all about saying it out loud. But like you said too, the body language, doing it in front of a mirror or doing it in front of somebody else is really important, because you never know, like you just learn so much about yourself. And back in the day, I'm going to say this, back in the day, you didn't record yourself because we had, VHS. But now with iPhones, you can record yourself saying it and see, do you do weird things with your arms while you're talking? Do you have strange facial expressions?
Well, and maybe your best friend, maybe the person you would want to go do networking with doesn't live close to you. You could send them that video. Say, hey, do I look silly, or is this, are you buying what I'm saying? And we're not trying to convince anybody, but we definitely are trying to walk in and get the message across what we do and what services we offer. And I think that that's funny that I'm thinking the word convince. And the reason why that word is coming to my mind is I'm thinking about you being an attorney, and you have a jury to convince,
right?
You have a jury to persuade, to say, this is what my client did, and this is what I want you to believe. And it's kind of the same thing with networking, right? This is my business, and this is what I want you to know about it.
Exactly. So practice is really important. And yes, like you mentioned, episode 2, we gave you all the tools you need to prepare that power statement. And then you just want to practice it. And then the second key is going to be your mindset. So you have to have good self-talk is what I'm going to say. I constantly say to my kids ever since they were little, what you speak about, you bring about.
Yeah.
So you have to have really good self-talk. You need to say to yourself regularly that you have something valuable to offer, that whatever your business is, you're good at it and it's valuable. And that is the self-talk that needs to go in your head on the regular. If you find that you're saying things to yourself that are not positive, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm too new at this. What was I thinking? Is this even valuable? You need to silence that immediately in your own mind, because if you are saying that to yourself, you're creating the doubt, and the doubt is going to eat away at it.
I have to interrupt you and tell you this awesome tip that I heard on a podcast. Okay. So right now, I want you to think in your mind. I want you to scream your name. Okay. And then I want you to whisper your name. Were you able to do that?
It's funny. I was able to scream my name, but the whispering my name was weird, was not easy.
Okay. The point of the exercise is to prove that you are in control of what that voice says.
Yes.
So if you have a lot of negative self-talk about your networking and your message about your business, you're in control of that. So you can choose to say, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. I stink at this. I should never come back. Or you have the choice to say, I'm working at this. I'm getting better.
Yes.
I know my value. I know what I'm bringing. I'm going to keep doing this, and it's going to keep getting better. Those are the things that you should be saying to yourself instead. You have the choice to shout or to speak your name in your head. You have the choice to control that internal monologue.
Yes, because I'm just going to be real. The first time anybody goes to a networking group, they are not confident. No.
No. Our intro says we have 30 years of combined networking experience, so it's second nature to us now.
Right.
For the first time?
No, it's terrifying. Well, and even now, like the first time you go to a new group or a new organization's networking, you're kind of like, okay, what is this going to be like? How am I going to fit in? Am I going to know anybody?
Completely out of your comfort zone.
Like it's normal. But, now after being a part of so many different types of networking and going to different one-off networking events. Now, when I get the opportunity to be a substitute for somebody in another group or something like that, I'm like still a little nervous, but I say to myself, you know what? Take it for what it is. Introduce yourself to new people. You never know what connection you're going to find. If they don't like me, I never have to come back. Who really cares? Who doesn't like me? Everybody likes me, right? So I have this whole conversation with myself in the car. It's not like I just exude confidence everywhere I go and every step of life. Nobody does that. Everybody gets nervous. That's normal. So confidence grows when you believe in the transformation you provide, when you believe in the value you provide, but also your confidence is going to grow with practice, with experience. And so nobody who goes to their first networking event goes, that was so fun and I was super confident. Nobody says that. They're like, that was horrible and I never want to go back. No, I'm just kidding.
Or I got so many business cards. Now I got to do a lot of emailing. Ugh.
Right?
A lot of follow-up.
Or you might just say, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I survived and want to go have a drink. I mean, that might be how you feel. But nobody is like, I think some people feel that they're the only ones that are insecure or nervous or whatever when they go into these things. And so they're like, everybody else is so confident. Everybody else knows everybody. No.
Lies.
Totally. So the more you show up, the more you try, the more you network, the better it gets. Every single time it gets better.
Yep. I think finally the last piece of this that we want to talk about is small wins. So confidence builds through action, exactly like we're saying. I have always been a proponent of action brings clarity. You go to the first networking event and you go, you know what? I'm not wearing dresses anymore to a networking event because sitting down on the chairs and standing up, and if they have any kind of activity, I don't want to wear a dress anymore. Okay, then you go the next time and you're like, ugh, I'm going to stop doing lipstick because lipstick gets on the glass and blah, 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 and it makes me feel uncomfortable. And then you go the next time and you're like, okay, so I'm going to do 3 business cards this time instead of just 1. I'm going to branch out to somebody at the other tables, not just this table. And as you do it more often, it will become more comfortable. And you will build that confidence. It's like building a muscle, right? I mean, I hate the analogy, but dang, is it true. You just keep using that muscle and it keeps to grow. The more you show up, the more you try, you will feel confident strength.
Yeah.
You will feel better.
Absolutely. And you'll find what type or style of networking events you feel more confident in.
Yes.
And that makes a difference too, because, to be honest, like in the beginning, those events where you sit at a table, maybe for a lunch and you're only next to, 2 people at a time or across the table, maybe from 2 more, that might be what you find comfortable in the beginning because you aren't forced to circulate a room or make new conversation. Like you can just sit comfortably with the same people the entire time. I don't love those because I feel like I'm trapped in a chair and I can't meet everybody in the room. And that kind of drives me a little bonkers. But that's my personality now. In the beginning of networking,
I don't like those either.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I am giving an hour of my time and my time is valuable. I could be home editing. I could be home working on marketing content. And so if I'm going to be there, I'm meeting someone new.
Right. I know.
I'm going to connect with someone new. Someone new is finding out about my business. Okay.
Right. I feel the same way. But in the beginning, if you think about it, in the beginning of networking, that's probably a very comfortable way to network because you're sitting, you have food in front of you generally at those. So you're eating and you only have
your
to
endorphins
really
are flowing.
Right. And you really only have to make conversation with like 2 people. Right.
Yes.
And you're all trapped there. So that might be a more comfortable way to start. But once you get in the flow of networking, you're probably going to be like us, where I'm like, I hate that. I feel trapped and I can't talk to everybody in the room. Now, if I go to a networking event, like I want to talk to all these people in the room. I want to meet new people. I want to see how many people new I can meet. And if I already know you, I'm probably not talking to you at that event because I already know you and you know that about me. And so it just seems like you can, have a lot more connections made. But that, I would say, is for the naturally confident person or the experienced networker who really feels like they're going to go circulate the room. And with that being said, Tiffany and I still go to events together because it's more fun to go together.
Yeah.
And then when we get in the door, we go, okay, bye. And then we come back together to leave. Yeah. So, yeah. So there's nothing more intimidating than showing up to a new group all by yourself. You're like, eek, am I going to know anyone?
Yeah.
So you just have to figure out which platform, which scenario, which style of networking you feel most comfortable with right now and build on that. And then start branching out to the other ones that maybe intimidate you a little bit as your confidence grows and as you build on that confidence.
Yep. Action brings clarity, and continue to celebrate all those small wins every time you do it, every time you survive one, and every time you learn something,
exactly.
Yeah. Say hi to someone new, go to the next event, ask for the introductions, and just celebrate every little win along the way, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And stop with the negative self-talk.
Yes.
Okay. You've got to flip that belief. I love networking. I love making new connections.
Yep.
I am confident. My business is amazing. I am sharing this with other people in a confident way.
Yes.
You've got to flip the self-talk.
I agree with that. I would say confidence is not something that you arrive at. It's something that you create, right? Like when you start to learn how to read, you don't know how to read, and then you learn how to read, and you're like, okay, I can read now. When you start to learn math, you don't know math, and then you learn how to do it. Or when you learn a new foreign language, right? It's the same thing. We're just building a new skill set. That's all you're doing. It's not this big mountain. One step, one conversation, one room at a time. You're just learning how to network.
Yeah. And don't wait until you feel like your business is already successful to then go network, because you'll find out, obviously through listening to our podcast, that your business will become successful through networking. And so don't wait to network until you feel like your business is already successful. Don't wait. You need to get in there. You need to get in there now. Right? Right? Yeah. You need to get in there and bumble. You need to figure out what you like and what you don't like. Like Tiffany said, it's something that you learn. It's a skill you're going to build on. So start by showing up. The confidence will begin to follow. It is something that we all have to learn how to do, one step at a time. And from the very beginning to even now, I continue to learn and grow and build my confidence when it comes to networking. You're never, what do they say, that the class is never out for the professor? The process of learning, teaching, and thinking about a subject never truly ends, even when you're a professor.
Yep. I agree, Donna, 100%. All right, before we go, it's time for networking mode on segment. So before you walk into your next event, I want you to take a minute to do the power pose where you stand tall, shoulders back, and you just consume space. And I want you to do it for just a minute or two. Even if you need to do it in a incognito way before you walk in, maybe you're just like pretending to look at your phone, but you put your shoulders back, your feet shoulder width apart, and you're going to take in a couple of deep breaths and just own. You're going to go in there and you're going to connect with other people and you're going to be confident about it. I want you to say your power statement out loud, the one that you've crafted with the template that we put on the website for you guys from episode 2. And you're going to build that confidence and remind yourself exactly why you belong in that room. Networking mode on.
You've been hanging out in the Link Up Lounge, your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities. Now it's your turn. Go make a powerful link today. Networking mode on.